What is going on, guys? It is Fluxified here and welcome back to my another video. Today we have a lot to talk about. The day finally came and we got the official next-gen early access release for Rust Console Edition last week. I definitely have some interesting thoughts to share about my impressions and experience with the next-gen version, and we've had a fair few updates from the developers informing us on what to expect next. As always, there's a lot to go over, so let's get into it. So let's start off with a quick breakdown of next-gen Rust console itself. We have minicopters, scrappies, attack helicopters, we got better textures, improved draw distances, improved lighting. I mean, this is the first time Rust console has ever felt truly next-gen. I even noticed a few things that weren't even talked about prior to launch. For example, when I was in a party chat, I could still hear people speaking in the in-game voice chat, and that's not something that ever worked before. Normally, you had to be in-game chat to hear other players talking, but in the next-gen version, I can actually hear players talking in-game chat while I'm in a party chat. Now, I do want to say I couldn't respond to these people. They couldn't hear me. It was only the people I was in party chat with that could hear me, so I don't know if that's something that can be possibly looked at further down the line. But at the very least, just being able to hear other players in-game chat talking around you, even though you're in a console party chat, just makes the world feel a little bit more alive. A new addition I've also noticed is with the combat log. Specifically, it actually shows the name of the player that you hit or got hit by under the target section. This isn't something we had before, and we definitely had to do a lot of guesswork to identify who it was that we'd hit, but this is actually really helpful in identifying players after a fight. Okay, so now we've covered the good things, I do want to talk about the things that haven't been so smooth. The early access has been, in all honesty, a little bit all over the place. On the one hand, we obviously got this exciting new next-gen version, but on the other, bugs have been everywhere. I've personally noticed quite a few as well. So for example, in water treatment, the wheel at the center building, when you turn it, doesn't actually open the sliding door to get to the crates in the center. Another thing I've noticed is that my weapon skins will randomly just disappear. Sometimes I'll equip a gun that shows I've got a skin on it in the item hotbar, but when I pull it out, the skin just won't be there and the weapon will just look like the default skin. And the only way to fix this is by swapping to a different weapon and then re-swapping back to the other weapon with the skin on it. This normally makes the skin appear, but considering we have to pay for these skins, it's not ideal to know that they're not working as intended. I've also noticed hot air balloons occasionally seem to randomly glitch out. I'll be flying it and suddenly the button to turn the hot air balloon left or right just doesn't work, and the only way to fix that is by taking out the low grade in the center and putting it back in, which then makes the button work again. But I can tell you that I've definitely died a couple of times by this bug, and I really hope it does get fixed really soon. Now that was just my experience, but others have reported similar or even worse bugs as well. Naturally, the developers have been onto this relatively quickly. A hotfix went live on the 20th of June to fix some issues that players were having. Just to break down now what was fixed: flying vehicles no longer stutter when piloting, parachutes and player corpses now no longer occasionally drop through terrain, the heli will no longer shoot scientists, storage adapters no longer turn invisible when rejoining a server nearby, and building privilege now resets properly when leaving the TC range, making multi-TC builds now work correctly. These are naturally welcome fixes, but there are definitely a lot of bugs left in the game, and I really hope the developers can get on this relatively soon, because they are definitely getting in the way of the player experience. Now, the developers have also shared a list of some of the known issues that they are aware of and will likely be fixing soon. Just to go over some of the more important ones, they're aware that arrows and weapons that are thrown no longer are able to be picked up once they hit a player. They are working on a fix for this, so you will be able to pick up arrows out of your body or out of player bodies that you've hit. Recycler audio currently plays when you get near a recycler, even if nothing is actually recycling in it. Now, this could even lead you to think that a player is around when actually it's just a bug, and this is something I've actually had a few times myself as well, so I am glad that they're aware of it and hopefully we can get a fix soon. The devs are aware of the water treatment door issues, as I mentioned earlier, so as I said, the wheel doesn't actually open the central sliding door. And finally, the developers have noticed several issues with monument audio, that they are aware of and will make fixes to in the future. I do also want to cover very briefly the issues that many Xbox players had on day one. Specifically, a lot of Xbox players couldn't actually get into the game at the start of early access, and I do believe they were presented with a message saying that they were too early when they tried to enter the game at the start of launch. This led to an issue where only people who paid for the next-gen PlayStation version were actually able to play the game on the hour of launch. I was one of these people, and when I was doing a stream, I had quite a lot of Xbox players saying that they were frustrated that they couldn't actually get into the game, despite being told by the developers that they would be able to play from day one of early access. Now, it does look like this issue has mainly been resolved by now, but if you are still encountering this, do let me know in the comments down below, and I will try and forward that to the developers. Now, just before I round up the video, we did also get a short Q&A from Pedro Silva, the community manager, answering some of the most asked questions by the community around the next-gen launch. To start with, vending machine names have now been removed, so you're not able to currently name a vending machine on the map. This was due to some, shall we say, creative abuse of the vending machine naming system, which did lead to a lot of users creating some quite inappropriate content, which did breach the TOS of the game. Hopefully, a profanity filter is being worked on so that they can bring this naming system back in the future, but for now, we're not able to currently name any vending machines on the map. We did also get a question answered about the graphics mode in the game. Currently, the game has 3 different modes: performance, balanced, and quality mode, and a lot of players were wondering exactly what the FPS targets were in those modes. Now, Pedro has given us a little bit more information for these. So, balanced and quality mode all have a 60 FPS target, but performance mode actually can reach FPS levels above 60 and most likely is targeting 120 frames per second. Now, whether it reaches that is another question, but it has been confirmed that performance mode can reach FPS levels above 60. Pedro revealed that military tunnels has been disabled for the first wipe of the month. I'm not too sure why this was disabled. Maybe there were some issues last minute regarding this and that's why they had to pull it from the rotation, but military tunnels is one of my favourite monuments in the game, so hopefully it can get reactivated relatively soon. Pedro also provided a statement regarding the missing Rust coins and skins that a lot of players are having. As you probably know, a lot of us were promised Rust coins with our version of the game that we bought, and they haven't actually been added to our in-game inventory just yet. Well, Pedro has now confirmed that this is now being investigated, so if you are owned any pre-order skins or Rust coins and haven't yet received them, it is being worked on by the developers and hopefully we get that soon. Now, in my opinion, despite all these bugs and issues, this is definitely a massive step up for Rust console. The developers have definitely put a lot of work into this next-gen upgrade, from all the work on the graphics to all of these features like minicopters, scrappies and attack helicopters. There's definitely a lot of work being put in, and while the launch wasn't perfect, we are technically still in the early access, so hopefully a lot of these issues can be resolved soon. The key thing now is how fast the developers can get on top of fixing all of these bugs and issues. So I think that just about wraps up this video. Now, if you did enjoy this breakdown and want to stay up to date with everything Rust Console Edition, I do post update videos just like this every single week. So be sure to like and consider subscribing if you do want to see more content like this. For now though, I have been Fluxified. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the beach.